With me today is Rabbi Mendy Lent, and he's going to talk to us about Shavuot. It's a festival that has many names, and it's linked by a certain number of days after Passover. Shavuot, Feast of Weeks, Pentecost. Tell us about it.
Lovely to be here discussing Shavuot. Shavuot, as you mentioned, Pentecost, Feast of Weeks, actually it literally translates that Shavuot is weeks, and it commemorates 7 weeks, from Passover.
A week of weeks.
Yeah, so it's a week of weeks. From Passover, so from when the Jews left Egypt, they had a 49-day countdown till they received the Torah at Mount Sinai. And these were days of anticipation. In fact, we're told that when they left Egypt, they were on an exceptionally low spiritual level, and they were unfit to receive the Torah on that level. And so these 49 days were days and weeks of refinement, getting back that to a level where they were able and suitable to receive this law and become a nation, which is, Shavuot commemorates us becoming a nation once we received the Torah, the instructions for how God wanted us to live our lives. So it's a tremendously meaningful festival, because this is the day we became a nation. The Jewish people became a nation on Shavuot at Mount Sinai when they accepted the Torah and accepted to live under these rules. In fact, we're told that they said, Na'aseh v'nishma. We will do, and then we will listen. We're willing to do it. We trust you. We'll find out the reasons and everything why, but they were willing to take it on without having found out what was inside it, which is a tremendous merit of the Jewish people at the time. So on Shavuot, we read the 10 Commandments, which were given on that day. A special reading. We, men, women, and children try to come to recreate what happened at Mount Sinai, and that is the main thing of Shavuot, the main observance of the festival. Obviously, there's meals, as there are with all the Jewish festivals, festive meals. On Shavuot, a particular food that we eat is dairy produce. There are reasons given for that. One of them being that the Torah, which they had just received, gives them the laws of not mixing milk and meat, the laws of ritual slaughter, and the laws of how to re-kosherize vessels that had been non-kosher beforehand. Now, they needed time to train and to learn all those kind of things. So the easiest thing for them to eat immediately following that was dairy produce, because that didn't involve any of the complications of the laws and things. So we celebrate that with cheesecakes and all wonderful dairy produce on Shavuot. It's a very special time.
Shavuot, as the recollection of the giving of the Torah, is of course also the recollection of the covenant, because in receiving, as you say, it's the statement of acceptance. So how is that something that is still how is that remembered?
On Shavuot, we kind of recommit, because we remember what our ancestors did all that time ago.
So renewal, it's almost renewal of the
absolutely,
act of covenant.
Absolutely, a renewal of the covenant, because they took it on at that time. Recently seen these wonderful miracles coming out of Egypt. God had been kind of open in front of them. They saw what had happened, and they accepted this Torah. They trusted that what was going to be in it was going to be good for them. But now, a couple of thousand years later, we've seen what's in it. Right, and it doesn't make the easiest life for people, because when you commit to something, there's things it takes up, some of your things which would make life easier, and not necessarily what's best for you. And God knows what's best. So perhaps people might be reluctant and say, you know what, I don't really want to take on all these kind of things. But Shavuot is that recommittal to take it on again. We know what's in it, and we experience that now, and we are willing to accept it once more, recreate that connection. And Shavuot, in essence, is really the first time that the spiritual and the physical worlds were able to merge. Up until that point, you had the spiritual stuff in God's sphere, and then mankind was only physical. So when mitzvot hadn't really been given, but the few things they had been done, they were unable to change the physical world with those commandments. What happened at Shavuot is we're told God came down to Mount Sinai and Moses ascended to heaven. That was the first merging of the physical and spiritual world. And what that enabled us to do is to actually change the physical world through our spirituality. So it's a complete watershed moment in the history of mankind, is that our good deeds are able to change and physical objects are able to retain holiness.
And of course, that is perhaps the fundamental truth that underlies monotheism.
And that is really the purpose of what we're created for, is to take physical things and make them holy. Take a world that masks God and reveal Him within it. And that was the power to do that was given on Shavuot. So it really is the most powerful of the festivals when we think about that. It represents the purpose what we're here for.
Mendy, thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.